Hey there, Fight Shank here with the answer to why do poster boys succeed? You know those guru case studies that are out there. Someone, John from so-and-so came along, bought my course, took a little bit of action, got massive results. Clearly doesn't work for the rest of us. In this presentation, we're going to cover exactly that, what it is they're doing to get those results, so you can go and replicate what they're doing and get the same results. Subtitle of this is The Secret to Getting Started is Not Getting Started, and all will be revealed shortly. So, when you look at the poster boys, you might have questions like, why aren't they overwhelmed? I mean, they're bombarded with the same information, the same opportunities as you. How come they're not overwhelmed? Or why do they make it look so effortless? Because really, for most of it is pretty, it's hard work. And how come they can take massive action and not get stuck? Because for most people, taking massive action means running into overwhelm. It means running from obstacle to obstacle. Really, the underlying question is, what is their secret? Do they have access to information you don't have? Do they do something you can't do or don't know? Or, what is it? What is the big underlying secret? And the answer to all of this, big drum roll, is they are asking different questions. That's all it is. That is the biggest difference between those who succeed and those who don't succeed. So let me explain. Now, in order to understand why it is important to ask the right kind of questions and what happens when you don't ask the right questions, when you ask the wrong questions, you need to understand a little bit about your brain. And there's something in there, it's called the RAS. It's the Reticular Activating System. Now, when we look at Wikipedia, it says, the RAS consists of evolutionary ancient areas of the brain which are crucial to survival during adverse periods. All that means is there's an old bit in your brain that's always been in brains, and pretty much any animal has it, that stops you from getting eaten by saber-toothed tigers. So this thing runs on autopilot. When you recognize a saber-toothed tiger, you hit this thing over the head or you run away. Now it turns out, because it runs on autopilot, that's pretty much bad news, because it almost sounds like you're pre-programmed to do the same thing over and over again. And of course that's bad news, because we want to do what the poster boys are doing. But the good news is you can program this thing. Now, in practice, you will have recognized the RAS in action when, for example, you buy a new car. So every time you look for a particular new car, you suddenly see it everywhere. I've been researching this model of car, and suddenly it's everywhere. How come? Well, it's because your RAS considers this thing important enough to filter it in. So that simply by looking for particular information, you can program your RAS. And now we're going to do a little exercise here. I'm going to ask you to, in the next 15 seconds, look around your room where you are and look for 7 blue things. Go. Alright, 10 more seconds, 7 blue things. 5 more seconds, 7 blue things. 3, 2, 1. Close your eyes. Alrighty? Now, with your mental eye, look around your room and tell me about 7 red things. Not blue things, red things. That is your RAS in action. Okay? You've simply told it to look out for blue things. The important thing to do right now, dear RAS, is to look for blue things, not for red. And that's why any functioning, fully functional or fully operational RAS will have filtered in blue and will have filtered out everything else. That's what the RAS does. And you can program it with a simple question as look for blue things. Now the question is, what questions are the poster boys asking themselves to get the results they're getting? And what questions are you asking yourself so you're not getting the same results? And in order to understand that, we first have to look at the bad questions really, and that are the questions you are led to believe you should be asking pretty much by society. And they are the celebrated enemy number 1, the BHAG. Okay, this is Jim Collins who came up with the concept of the BHAG, the big, hairy, audacious goal, and he's not an enemy number 1 at all. It's the BHAG, or anything to do with productivity management, goal setting, personal development. They're all focusing, and we as a society, especially Western society, focus on big, hairy, audacious goals, on achievement, success, outcome. And because we're focused on these big, audacious goals, we're forgetting about the most important ingredient. Because here's what happens. When you look at, you set these massive goals, you will start asking questions like, how can I make money online? Specifically, things like, how can I make 6 or 7 figures? I'll make 6 or 7 figures, or I'll replace my job. Now, what happens is when you tell your RAS to look for information like, how can I make 6 or 7 figures? Every time someone puts a course in front of you that says, this is how you make 6 or 7 figures, your RAS is going to go, that is important information. You should go and check it out. Buy that course now. Go, go, go. Or, how can I get passive income? Well, every time someone puts in front of you, I'll get Google. This is how you get Google #1 rankings. There you go. You've bought another SEO course. Or this is how you make a million viral likes on shares. You've just bought yourself another FB course. Okay. By asking questions that are oriented along big, hairy, audacious goals, you're basically setting up your RAS to go and buy courses, because that's what people do in marketing. They are aligned with your RAS. They tell you this is how you replace your job. This is how you get Google #1 rankings. The big difference in terms of questions between the poster boys, those who succeed very, very quickly and those who don't, is the poster boys are focusing on the path to getting there. Or, in other words, it's outcome versus becoming the person who gets the outcome. The amateur focuses on the outcome only. I want to make the 7 figures. The professional focuses on becoming the person who gets the outcome. Or in other words, in order to get the outcome X, you first have to be good at Y, where Y is the activity that gets you the outcome X. That's all it is. Okay? So I'll give you some specific examples from practice. And here is practice. Yesterday, my brother and I went on this cycle race here, or did the cycle race, 113k, 3,174 meters of climbing. That's like 10,400 feet of climbing, with insanely steep gradients, and it was 4 degrees in the mountains, wind chill and everything. It was not a pleasant day. Anyway, there we are near the finish. This is about 15k, 10 miles away from the finish, and we're having a refreshing isotonic drink. This whole thing was sponsored by a brewery. So all in all, a brilliant day. I've got very sore legs today. Anyway, we've been training for years now, but still we're amateurs, we're not professionals. And that is, I think, the segue into amateur athletes. Amateur athletes follow the plan and focus on the beautiful surroundings when training. Okay? Most people who are amateurs take a step-by-step plan and go, right, today I have to do 3 hours of cardio. Cool. And whilst I do it, I'll just have a good luck round. And I have to say, I personally enjoy cycling so much, the looking around and getting my head clear, etc. So it's fine. I have no ambitions to be a professional cyclist. However, the elite athletes focus on their technique at all times. Research has shown that they are obsessed with looking mentally at every single, for example, in this case, pedal stroke. They're obsessed with identifying where do they waste energy, where is their inefficiency, and how can they eliminate this in their pedal stroke? How can they relax the muscles at the right time? How can they tension them at the right time? And so on. The amateur athlete, on the other hand, will go out and find a magic bullet. They'll go, clearly I'm not getting enough power out of my bicycle, so A, I'll buy lighter bicycles, and B, I'll buy a special oval-shaped crank. That'll, help me get over the dead spot at the top. Blah, blah, blah. Amateur athletes follow the plan or look for external solutions. Elite athletes focus at their technique internally to themselves, what it is they're doing, so they can always improve on that. And out of this, of course, come the right questions you're asking yourself. A second point is, amateur athletes repeat the same action over and over again when they're training, and also when they're racing. So in this case, they just do the pedal stroke, pedal, 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 and they typically do what they feel comfortable doing, and that's the end of that. Elite athletes, on the other hand, get it wrong on purpose. There's a fantastic experiment in athletics. They took shot putters and basically split them into 2 groups. And what they did is they had them. Group A had to basically take their normal, ball of iron and fire it off using their best technique 100 times. And at the end of that, they had them do one for real. Like, this is the one that counts. We want to see how far you can get. And without fail, none of them got as far as their personal best because they just fired off 100 shots, so clearly they were tired. Fine. The second group, they had to do really, really goofy stuff. They were not allowed to take their best technique. What they had to do is do really goofy stuff like stand on one leg or close their eyes or tilt their head in a really funny way or, whatever, stick one finger in a nose. Really stuff you would never ever do. And without fail, at the end of doing 100 really goofy things, they all fired far, far further than their previous personal best, despite being tired of doing after doing 100 shots. And the explanation behind of all of this is that your subconscious mind is so incredibly powerful that by practicing all the different variations you normally would consider normal, your subconscious mind now can take from all these little experiments, fit them all together into the perfect shot, and despite the fact that you're tired after doing 100 of these, you can now shoot further than ever before. That's a big difference between amateur athletes and elite athletes. Elite athletes will happily go and look like fools. It's a beautiful exercise in expanding your comfort zone, because at the end of the day, this helps you improve your technique, not only consciously but also subconsciously. Your subconscious can now go out and pick from all the different things you've tried and mold them into something beautiful, new, where you can then, master the whole thing. Unlike the amateur athlete who basically sit inside the comfort zone and do the same thing over and over again because it just feels comfortable. Finally, amateur athletes ask, what secret am I missing? Amateur athletes have a very black and white approach to things. If something doesn't work, most people try once, they fail, they give up, try something else. That technique clearly didn't work, I'll try something else. If you're a little bit advanced and you listen to enough personal development, you persevere and you try 10 times, in some cases 100 times, and then maybe you are winning. Elite athletes, on the other hand, ask, which side of perfection was that one on? They don't do black and white. Everything is seen as a little experiment. Okay, that pedal stroke, was that on the left side of perfection or on the right side of perfection? Of course, you have to decide what perfection is. And they go, that was on the left, but how far away from perfection was it? And why was it over there? Why was it not on the right? Why was it on the left? And I hope you can see what the difference in quality of question is you're getting out of this. Rather than saying, well, that didn't work, what else can I do now? Basically abandoning everything you've done before, you're now going, well, okay, I've done something that didn't quite work, but why where on the scale between like -10 to +10 was it? To get clues as to why it didn't work. Now you might be saying, right, that's all very well, but in practice, how do I put this all together? And there are enough poster boys who started from nothing. I'm perfectly happy to ask the right questions, but I can't go and start from scratch and spend years learning all this kind of stuff like elite athletes. Well, fortunately, there are shortcuts. There is a wonderful shortcut where you can get to the elite level very, very quickly. And the answer to this is this gentleman here. This is none other than Drayton Bird, who is probably the #1 living legend in direct response marketing in the UK. This guy has worked with all the big agencies. He's now a big name in his own right, and by all means, go look him up on Amazon. But go buy his books; they're fantastic. And his response, when I interviewed him a few years ago, was the answer to all your problems is direct response marketing. Direct response marketing is going to give you all the questions you need to ask. Direct response marketing is the ultimate shortcut to making money online. But that was literally my question to him. How do you make money online? That's his response, direct response marketing. Okay. In other words, in order to make money online, you first have to be good at direct response marketing. Now, notice how I underlined good. Because you don't have to be great at direct response marketing. You just have to have the fundamentals in place. Because if you do, you are asking the type of questions no one else is asking. That means you're way ahead, miles ahead of the competition. And as you know, most people suck. Most people have no success whatsoever online. You just need to get good at direct response marketing. Now, if you're thinking, hey, direct response marketing, cool, I'll get a copywriting course. Well, I'll show you something else in a second, okay? First, though, I want to show you a little example why it is so important to focus on direct response marketing. Look at this here. It's a Facebook post I picked up today, and it's Donald Wilson asking, do penny clicks with FB still even exist? And then da 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 da, here's proof that it works. It's probably, some pre-launch content. Anyway, Greg down here says, I'm getting 1 cent clicks right now, cause I listened to Don. Brilliant, this guy, Greg, followed the step-by-step plan by Don. Fantastic. Now I need to know how to scale. So first question was, how do I get 1 cent clicks? And he got the answer. So he was asking a good question, wasn't he? And then he was asking the question, now I just need to know how to scale. So he's again asking a question, which is very good. He wants to move places and then finally, then monetize. You have to be absolutely freaking kidding me, right? I don't know about you, but I do like making money with this whole thing. It's not a hobby of mine. I mean, I'm obsessed with online marketing or direct response marketing, but I would like to make money with it. And this guy, as a very last thing after all of this, he puts monetization. It can't get more amateur than that. The professional goes in, right, my outcome is how to make money with this, and now we'll take every single step. How do I get better at making money? Okay, I don't care about getting 1 cent clicks. I don't care about scaling this. I mean, for all I care, I could pay $1 million, or let's say, let's be realistic, $10 for a click. But if that $10 click gets me $1,000 client, that's what I want. I don't care about 1 million of these 1 cent clicks. If no one buys my stuff and I don't at least break even or make good money, it does not matter. And that's what direct response marketing is about. Get this right, get direct response marketing, get the fundamentals, just get good at it, and you will have won. You will have all the answers you'll ever need. You'll have the right questions to ask. So, to sum all of this up, here is the big question. This is the one question you need to ask yourself. This is the one question all the poster boys are asking themselves. You can use this anytime you like for anything. If you want to buy a course and you need to decide whether to buy the course or not, this is the question to ask. If you want to make a plan of how to proceed, this is the question to ask at every single step. If you are faced with an opportunity, whatever you've got with your online endeavors, here's the question. Ask yourself, is this making me a better marketer? Or in this case, a better direct response marketer? If the answer is no, it's not worth pursuing. It's worth shelving. Goodbye, and now I'm off to do something useful. Okay? This is the big difference between the poster boys and everyone else. They are at every single step, and not every single step. So some poster boys got there very, very quickly. They're the ones where you see the case study, hey, I started yesterday, I followed the course, and 3 months later, I'm making 6 figures. They're the ones who are asking this at every single step. Then you've got some who've been around for a couple of years, and they dibbled and dabbled, and then finally they found the guru, and finally it all makes sense. But they have also been asking this question. That is one big difference. Ask yourself this question, and you will be on your way to success. Now, I've got a second video, because now you might be thinking, oh, Zora, very well, direct response marketing, where do I start? Okay, and what do I do next? So, what I've got for you in the next video is exactly that. First of all, I said earlier, if you think, hey, direct response marketing is just copywriting, it's not. There is far more than that. There is a fundamental reason why direct response marketing is pretty much the answer to everything, including the flip side of the RAS. So we said, if you tell your RAS, or if you program your RAS with the right questions, the right answers will flow in, the right opportunities will flow in, you will recognize true opportunities, you will reject anything that is an opportunity that's forced upon you because people are exploiting the fact that you are looking for Google #1 rankings. So these two go hand in hand, and we cover that in the next video. More importantly, I'll show you the simplest possible model to practice DRM. And when you're thinking, a model, a step-by-step plan, most people go, well, I get overwhelmed by step-by-step plans. Fear not, this is a 2-step plan, a 2-step blueprint to practicing DRM. And most importantly, if we now look back at that Facebook case study, it's a 2-step blueprint or step-by-step plan where you make money whilst you learn. Not implementing now and then making money in a million years, or possibly not, because you're getting all this traffic but it's not buying anything, but actually going out and making money whilst you learn. Which brings us full circle to our good old poster boys. Here they are, okay? Here's the big thing. Most people go, right, there's a poster boy, and they pop out of nowhere and they make all this money, and they took the same course I took, and how is that possible? Well, it turns out they've already done the work, okay? They have studied, some more focused than other, direct response marketing and everything that's responsible for making it happen. So when they come onto the scene, they've possibly spent years studying this stuff, and it's finally gone click in their head. And all that was missing was the teacher who showed them the last final missing piece. Okay, you know that old saying is like, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. That's exactly what this is. They've done the work. They've like played with online marketing. They've done the studying. They've done the little experiments. They've made a fool out of themselves. They've done exactly like the elite athletes. Maybe a tiny little piece was missing. That's where the guru came in, and that's why they're a huge success. So if you are now, or you have been up till now, sitting there going, I do not understand, how come it works for those guys, and what you'll see is it's usually only a handful of people who completely get it and have the massive success with any guru's course. How come it works for them and not for me? This is the answer. You are probably not in the same spot they are yet. You haven't done the fundamental pieces yet. Now you might be saying, hang on, I'm willing to do the work. You probably already spent far too much time at the computer, okay? And that is because you haven't taken the most efficient path from being nowhere to being at the point where you are now ready for the teacher to appear. And that's exactly what we're going to cover in our next video. What is the most efficient path to getting there very, very quickly. Now, as a little homework, I'm going to leave you something here, with something, and that is blueprints don't work, okay? I'll take as an example the good old example of the avatar. Whatever step-by-step course, whatever course you've taken, if it's a decent marketing course, they will have told you that the foundation of all your success is the avatar. You need to truly understand how your prospective customer works, and what they think, and what they feel, and what they like to buy, and all that kind of stuff, okay? And be honest, if you've ever tried it, was it easy? And the answer is no, it's not. And if you think about the presentation I've just given you, the answer is already in there, especially in light of what I've just told you about the poster boys in the last slide. There's the answer why blueprints don't work. You need to go and figure that out. If you don't figure it out, no worries, I'll show you in the next video. I'll also show you this, which is the subtitle of this presentation. The secret to getting started is not getting started, okay? Most people start with a blank canvas syndrome. So if you've gotten into online marketing because you were fed up with your job, if you've gotten into this because you were laid off, or you need to augment your pension, or whatever it is, you got into this because people promised you that it would be easy, and you click a few buttons and all that kind of stuff. Now, reality for most people is they start with a completely blank canvas. They start with no prior selling experience, no prior marketing experience, no prior building a business or setting up a business, starting a business, building a business, growing a business, no prior experience of managing teams that do all this online stuff. So basically they're starting with a completely blank canvas. And when you are in that situation, the natural conclusion of all of this is overwhelm. There's no other way around it. It's like if you start from completely blank and you have nothing to build on, you will almost always end up in complete overwhelm and confusion. Once again, in the next presentation, I'm going to show you how to set up a starting point that you basically eliminate all of it apart from a few essential bits, so you can focus on those and no longer have to worry about all the other stuff. I'll leave you with another homework to think about, to wrap your head around this one. And that is, if you've got a half-decent marketing course, what they'll do is they'll tell you, go out and do market research. You can basically go into any market you like, and you can crush it in that market if there's enough demand. So you can go out there and, if you figure out that people really, really want whatever, black tomatoes, Good name. Turns out that tons of people who want black tomatoes, if you can figure that out, you can grow black tomatoes and sell it to them. Cool, that's very nice. However, for most people, that's a blank canvas. And in the next video, once again, I'm going to show you how to do it right and why going into a market with a blank canvas and saying, you can dominate any market with just the right market research and setting up your avatar is the worst possible thing, or it's the best possible way for setting yourself up for failure. Alrighty. I hope that answers your question. And you're now ready to start asking different questions. Okay? If you are, and I hope you are, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. Tell me what kind of questions you've been asking before and what kind of questions you're going to ask from now on. Alrighty, I'll see you in the next video.